Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Heartland Farm, the 6th episode of the Toy and the Real McCoy. Today we've got our first ever special guest. Peter Perkins from Greenwich is here today. He saved my tail, as a matter of fact. Today we're going to feature the John Deere 5020 with front wheel assist, a very interesting tractor in the muscle tractor era. I want to remind you folks that anyone who shares the Toy and the Real McCoy off Facebook is going to get their name thrown in a hat, and we'll get a drawing every week, and we'll send you a Falls Farm and Garden John Deere t-shirt and a Falls Farm and Garden John Deere hat for your effort in sharing our show, the Toy and the Real McCoy, if you would be so kind. Today, Pete brought up some 5020s that he has custom built, and I wanted him to share them with us here. Pete, tell us about these. I'm going to get out of the way. Tell us about the first one.
Okay, well, like I told you earlier, Tim, I got my first 5020 when I think I was 11 or 12 years old, early 70s, and I've always been enthused by them. So about 5 years ago, I got back into collecting, and I always get somebody will bring me a toy, I'll bet you can't fix this. So that's what got me into.
That's all it takes, a challenge.
So anyway, you know, I think the only toy you could ever really buy was an open station at the time. So I took this one. It was not real fancy paint, but I built what they call Wheatland fenders, the ROPS on it, and it's all custom built by hand. And these are just your beads you get out of your common craft store. So now I got one with the ROPS.
I'm going to stop here just a second, folks. Pete mentioned the Wheatland fenders. There's two styles of the 5020 tractor built. There was a total of 12,909 5020s built, and a little over 7,000 of them were Wheatland style with this style fender, and around 6,000 were in the row crop configuration, which will have this fender here with the headlights in the fender, the regular shell type fenders. So the tractor that we're going to look at, the real McCoy today, will be the row crop style, but the predominant number of 5020s was built as Wheatlands. This the 5020 tractor was the second generation of the big Wheatland and the big row crop tractor from John Deere. The first one being the model 5010, which started being built in 1963. Mind you, John Deere was building two-cylinder tractors right up till 1960, and that's the year they introduced the new generation of power, which went to 4- and 6-cylinder tractors. So by 1963, the horsepower wars were getting to be in full swing. Everybody was trying to outdo everybody with tractor horsepower as farms were increasing in size and the amount of acreage worked was growing, especially as you got out into the wheat belt states. So the 5010 tractor was the first John Deere tractor to have the 531 cubic inch engine that is also featured here in the 5020. Those tractors were about 120 horsepower rated PTO horsepower, and when they were tested at the University of Nebraska, they tested at about 121 horse, so almost exactly to their advertised horsepower. Interestingly enough, in 1965, when John Deere introduced the 5020 series of tractors, which were built until 1972, they advertised this as 130, 133 horsepower in the literature, and in its first Nebraska test in 1967, it achieved just over that. But they made some slight generational changes to the 531 engine and to the 5020. And in the second test at the University of Nebraska, still advertising the tractor with 133 horsepower, she easily put out a little over 141. So it was a real beast of a tractor. And as I said, they made them until 1972. Pete, take it away with your second one here with the cab.
So, I don't know, maybe you know, but I didn't ever see a toy to be bought that could have a Henniker cab on it. And so this is off your early John Deere 4440s or whatever.
Yep.
But so it took me like 3 days just to get the cab to fit. You know, I had to cut a lot of stuff, and as you can see, it fits pretty well. The back.
A lot of nice craftsmanship right there.
The back come out pretty awesome on it. I was pretty proud of it. And even the slab weights, Tim, I built.
Those are beautiful, Pete. That's nice work. I love the slab weights on a John Deere tractor. They take an already aggressive looking front end on a round hood Deere and make it look all the better. The Henniker cab has saved an awful lot of guys up here in the cold weather country, dairy farmers, from freezing to death, feeding and spreading manure in the winter. The Henniker 1300 was a real popular cab. And now we'll move on over to this one, and I fell in love. Pete texted or put it on Facebook last night when I let people vote on what they wanted to see today. and he said, oh, I'd like to see the 5020, and then he put that toy one up there. Dave, I'm going to reach over and get that hat so it doesn't take away from the tractor. And that is a front wheel assist 5020, replicating 18438 rubber on the back, which is exactly what's going to be on the real McCoy today. These are your dust shields that were common on all your 5020s. And this has got the row crop fenders instead of the Wheatland fenders on it, and the John Deere rocks. It's a beautiful customization, Pete. That's pretty awesome work. Took my breath away to see a model of a 5020 front wheel. I was kind of swimming in my wading boots last night thinking, hey, what am I going to do without a toy?
I was pretty proud of it.
You know, you saved us, and made the trip up today, and we thank you for that. This is an awesome collection of 5020s that you've built here, and I'm going to have you build me a 5020 front wheel because it's hard to play the toy in the real McCoy when you don't have the toy. Most of the time I've got the toy long before I ever had the real McCoy, and this one is in reverse. We're going to go out and take a walk around that real tractor. We do have a running out there at the request of David Getty, who said we ought to have her Beller out there because he likes the sound of a 5020. So she's out there throbbing away.
I think we even have the same size stack.
Yeah, it's beautiful. just beautiful. Nice work. And it was a nice day to bring that tractor to life. You ready to go outside, Dave? Excuse me, folks.
Yep.
So it gets a little loud out here, but here's our 5020 front wheel assist. These are not mechanical front wheel drive. This is hydraulic front wheel assist. Not nearly as dependable as mechanical front wheel drive, but it certainly gets you out of a tough spot. This tractor's been ground up, restored, rebuilt motor, rebuilt hydraulics, brand new front wheel drive underneath it. It's got the John Deere slab wheels, got the add-on aftermarket steps. You come around to the rear, it's got the category 3 3-point hitch and the John Deere heavy duty cast brake kit. Deep in brand new rubber, 18438 times 4. You got a beautiful stance to it. And if I could operate the cameras, I'll have David jump right up on there and drive it away. What do you got to do here, Dave? My ankle's in this bit. It's doing its thing. Electronics kind of defies me a little bit here, folks. Give her some smoke, Dave. Switch to trucks, folks. We're going to probably show you either an International Scout or an International West Coaster semi-tractor. Until then, we ask you to once again share the toy and the real McCoy for us. We've had a great time bringing these shows